back here at the NRA National Firearms Museum here at NRA headquarters in Fairfax with Andrew Dalton. Andrew, impressive amount of hardware we have here for this edition of the Curator's Corner. Not only two impressive rifles, but a nice bayonet down there. What's going on here, Andrew?
Well, as we've seen in some prior segments, Doug Wicklund likes to grab the weirdest thing he can find in the museum.
I'm loving this. This is a new thing, the weirdest thing we can find. And you know, who's the beneficiary of this, Andrew? I am, and everyone watching is winner with this one. I love it.
Well, I like to grab the most high-speed thing I can find. And being in the museum, we have a lot of cool things floating around in our collection, this being one of them. So anybody in my generation, we grew up on video games. We probably instantly recognize the silhouette of this gun here. So just a little bit of history on it. In the late 60s, the French started looking at a new assault rifle for their military. What they ended up with, they wanted to look into bullpup type rifles. And what that means is, I'm going to lift this up a little bit so folks can see. So normally, like we see on our AR-15 down here, trigger group, magazine, barrel, action, everything like that. On this gun, the difference being trigger is up here, all our operating action is back here. Okay. All the weight of the gun is back here. We got our barrel, pretty much starts right there.
Yeah.
And we got both guns up here just to give you an idea of, we've got a 20-inch barrel on this AR-15 here. This is a 19.2-inch barrel on this. So you've got almost as much barrel length.
But a much more compact.
Right, exactly.
On both ends compact, yeah.
In a package, it's probably a good 6 to 8 inches shorter than that AR-15 in overall length. But the French started looking into the Bullpup design for their military rifle. What they ended up with was basically this. And this is the FAMAS, which is a French acronym, and I'm not going to try to butcher it in French because I don't speak French.
It's okay.
But it ends up meaning assault rifle made in the Saint Etienne Weapons Factory.
Okay.
So it's the state arsenal.
FAMAS, right.
Right. This particular gun is not a FAMAS. This is a civilian semi-automatic copy that was imported by Century Arms in the late 80s. Now, Century Arms only imported about 100 to 120 of these guns. So they are very, very, very rare.
Jeez.
Replacement parts are pretty much non-existent, so this one's pretty much a safer case queen at this point.
So how does that, it's good you got to compare it to the standard kind of AR platform. How did it perform when they designed it like this, different moving stuff around? How does it work?
Right. Well, it's pretty interesting how this actually works. And I've popped the pins before we started rolling here just so you can get an idea of what this looks like underneath. Now, if you take the carry handle and the bipod off, at first this may look like a gas system just like an AR-15, but in actuality it's a delayed recoil system. So it's more like an MP5 and it's roller delayed. This is kind of a toggle or lever delay. So then this is actually a reciprocating charging handle, but underneath this operating rod there's only a spring, and it's all recoil action.
Wow.
No gas operation to it at all. It's a very clean system.
And how'd they do out in the field when they first came out with them?
Well, they're pretty good. They did have some issues. The magazines, unfortunately, when they designed this gun, were supposed to be disposable. But governments being governments, they decided, well, why throw those away? Let's just keep them. So there were some issues with these original magazines. The French did introduce a revised version of this rifle. It's called the Famas G2, and it actually accepts a standard AR-15 Steinag magazine.
All right, now before we get out of here, because we can't ignore what's on the bottom, what's up with the bayonet?
Well, the bayonet just comes right on the end of the rifle, just like that. I mean, it's just a standard bayonet.
So we still have enough rifle there. If we need the bayonet, we can still use the bayonet.
Of course, you have to have a bayonet on your battle rifle.
Of course,
so.
Yes. There you go. Beautiful. That is pretty neat stuff. And once again, Andrew, I love the different kind of technologies we see both from the American firearm manufacturer and the French and all over the world through the years to address different needs and issues and trying different things. It's always cool to see. And we always talk about, how did this work? We tried this and how well did it work? Sometimes things work better than others. Sometimes you end up with the 1911, and sometimes you end up with something that's not as reliable or as good, but it's always neat to see the innovation in the firearms industry is just fantastic. So how can we come and see all this wonderful stuff?
Well, this gun is on display here at the National Firearms Museum in Fairfax, Virginia. Open 7 days a week, 364 days a year, open every day but Christmas, free and open to the public. If you can't make it to headquarters to see these guns in person, you can visit our website. That's www.nramuseums.com.
Beautiful stuff, Andrew. All right, you're back for more Curator's Corner, so I can't wait to see what you got next. So we're going from strange to fast to who knows what's next. We'll find out on next Curator's Corner. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.